Okay, probably gonna do no face cam. It's kind of late. I had to do 5 daily Durin story quests. This is a very weird story quest to be divided into 5 days IRL time, but it is what it is.
たくさん休んで元気いっぱいだぜ。よーし、ルリに会いに行こうぜ。魔法の本もそろそろヒントを出してくれてるといいな。
Okay. Just got back. It's kind of late. Do this quick time. Probably just gonna do Genshin or... Well, I did get the battle pass yesterday, so a little bit of the Durin, and then maybe some battle pass leveling up stuff. Yeah, I already got them to level 10. This comes Saturday. I already have the melt team ready down, so Durin's done. Durin is done in terms of building and finding his team. Continuing on where we left off, we saw the fictional birth of Durin via like storytelling. I'm not sure if that's actually how it happened, where we willed him to being, we warmed up his egg, and then he hatched the mini Durin. You can assume this is like a fictional telling of his birth, so it's not canon, in a sense.
ありがとう。ちょうど二人に会いに行こうと思ってたんだ。
風が音楽を運び、物語の種を芽生
None of
え
the
さ
spots of life of the seed story stirred by the windborne melodies.
せ、音楽は風とともに遠くに行き。
Yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna put on the PNG tuber. Why not? I keep looking at the OBS and it looks kind of empty without my face cam or anything, so PNG. Let's just set that up real quick. Oop, I'm hovering. There we go. Okay, if I bounce, does it make a gap? Nah, that's perfect. Perfect.
さあ、風と物語の出会う地へ。音楽の中にある詩と歌こそ。
これって。
So if we're gonna relive the simulacra via this, that would be the perfect way for people who missed the actual simulacra event quest last summer? Yeah, I think Durin was last summer. It took him 1 whole year to become a real playable character since his initial release as a NPC. This would be a good way for people who missed that event to play a version of the simulacra, however so small or miniature or like dumbed down, if it's telling the story of mini Durin during those times. But I doubt it. I doubt it.
どういうこと？
風とか音楽とか知って言えば、やっぱ
それってバルバトス様のこと？モンドに来たばかりの頃、アルベドが僕をバルバトス様に紹介してくれたんだ。
Okay, so he knows Venti is Animal Archon.
なるほどな。で、あいつに会うにはどこに行けばいいんだ？
He was listening anyways, as always.
きっとバルバトス様もこの話を聞いてると思うから。
そっか。あいつが神だってことをたまに忘れちゃうぜ。
And you probably heard that too, Paimon, so... Let's see where the wind takes us. I could follow the wind or could just follow the golden trail. Makes it easier. What's up, Herman? It is kind of hard to see the wind trail. Kind of blends in with the background. Probably gonna take us to the church? No.
旅人パイモン、それに童話の世界から来たリュウ君、風の中から僕を呼ぶ声が聞こえたよ。
With a riddle and also
謎
tone
解きで
deaf
困ってるんだっ
bard.
てね。
お邪魔してごめんなさい、バルバトス様。
そう言わないでよ。僕もその謎解きには興味があるんだ。聞かせてくれるかい？ふん。
何か分かったのか？
3つの謎と3つのフレーズ。昔のことを思い出したよ。君たち、
Oops, kind of interrupted
会い
him.
に来て正解だったな。
昔モンドにやってきた数人の魔女が僕と勝負したいって言ってきたんだ。
The Hexen Circle actively went toe to toe with Venti back then.
でも僕は武力ではなく歌やライア
Oh,
ー、
never mind. They went through like
指で争いを終わらせようと
a
提案
music
した。
competition. Very Venti coded.
僕はライアーを弾いて彼女たちにこの詩を歌った。風よ風よ、私の代わりに客人を迎えておくれ。青々とした草原を歩けば形なき君も姿を得られる。そうすれば客人のために一曲踊
That is
れ
a
るだろう。
giant wind catcher.
雲海の淵を舞えばよからぬ輩も君の歌声にひるむ。そうすれば客人のために邪魔者を遠ざけられるだろう。星々の下を飛べば属性の喧騒も洗い流さ
I'm
れ
reading
る。
this very quickly to see if there's any like hints
客
to
人のために心情を
lore
語れる場を
implications.
作
So
れ
far,
る
it's
だ
just
ろう。
like flavor text.
言っておくれ。客人との約束の地へ。そこには争いも戦いもなく、心地よい時間だけが。3つのフレーズはここまで。3つの謎の答えはもう分かったかな？
森の中、崖のそば。
大正解。そういえばあの時この謎を最初に解いたのも君のお母さんだったね。物語を書く人と物語を読む人の
A
間には
cliff underneath the
何らか
sky.
のつながりが
I
あ
think I
る
know
の
what
かも
that
ね。
is. It could be the teapots, the tea spot for that weekly boss, the chess weekly boss.
森の中、崖のそば。
この答えが示している場所が当時魔女たちは僕の謎々を解いて僕の提案を
Yeah,
受け
it
入れ
is.
た。
It is it.
この本のヒントをもとにそこで僕のフレーズを演奏。
こうい
And
う
I'm gonna have to play the liar too. Okay.
さすが風神バルバトス様だぜ。
ありがとう、バルバト。
何何？
金融詩人のバルバトス様は
Oh yeah, the story of maybe
数えきれないほどの
Durin,
物語を読んで
the
きた
evil
でしょ。
dragon version where you helped
作
actually
者が
slay
思う
him.
未完成の
それはまだ叶えられていない願いが物語にあるか。
頼もしいって言ったそばから。
君の欲しい答えはこの物語の中にあるはずだよ。君のお母さんが残した物語に口出しはできないからね。
そうだね。
Find the mage's meeting spot, which of course, yep, it is where I thought it was. Best place.
着いたな。ここで3つのフレーズを演奏すれば次の章に必要な思い出を集められるんだよな。
演奏。僕、リサ先生の授業の中で演奏が一
Oh, great. Of course, I'm going to have to do this. So glad they gave us the cues for it. Third one. Oh, crap, I have to raise it. Okay, so there's gonna be one more. I was gonna try to take a break. drink my tea. Last one. Should I pop out the YouTube chat? Yesterday's stream, I did have a YouTube chat appear. I was too lazy to even like pop it out the usual. And lo and behold, I did miss a chatter, so maybe I should do it this time.
それでも過ぎ去った日々の中で大きなテーブルの上にあった3つのティーカップは空になりました。
Three of them. M, who died of old age. B, no, not B. The one who made the simulacra also left. Who's the third one? Granddaughter, who became the shade?
無事に生まれたという素敵な知らせを持ってきたからです。魔法使いたちは祝福を授け、この子をどう歓迎するかという話で盛り上がりました。
Ooh, I get a choice. Candy it
新
is.
しい命の誕生は甘くて素敵なもの。そこで魔法使いたちは美味しいキャンディーを選びました。そして魔法使いの集まりは竜の子の誕生日パーティーとなったのでした。
So again, of the four witches who remain, Alice, B, Nicole, is that M? No, M passed away. Who's the narrator? M is the old one. So four people? Wait, okay, I'm gonna quickly just look up the wiki of the Hexen Circle, just to clarify. Engine Hexen. Of the members who still are part of it. Alive. Okay, so J. I don't know who J is. J is one of them who died. M is also another one who died, which is Durin's creator. Granddaughter, because she left, and O, Octavia. She also left, so Granddaughter, Octavia left. M passed away. It's 3. So there's actually only 3 active Hexen Circle members. Nicole, B, and Alice. I wonder if they're gonna mention first mayor of an unknown city of Shaznaya, codename J, left the Hexen Circle, although she kept in touch with them. Oh, Scarlet. Okay, no. I just remembered this quest line. There is an actual codename for J. Scarlet. That was another NPC that happened in the Windbloom Festival. So there is 4 active. One of them is just like pass on the title to each generation. So not an original member, but one who just fills in the spot every so often. Okay. So there are actually 4 active ones.
つまりここも物語の中の
Yep,
世界なんだろうな。
Simulacra.
そこへ突如新しい客が現れました。彼らも竜の子の誕生日パーティーに参加したいのでしょうか。しかし悩んだ末にプレゼントを用意した魔法使いたちにこのままでは客人として歓迎されるはずもあります。
プレゼント？
そんなのどう
A gift to himself. That's kind of very, very meta.
さっき知ったばっかりなんだぞ。
客人は不満の言葉を垂れるよりもどんなプレゼントを贈るか考えるべきなのでした。
I have a funny feeling Even though the voice doesn't sound like Nicole, Nicole does like to narrate stuff, right? So, and the narrator has a capital N, which is Nicole's signature, so maybe this is Nicole meta narrating right now. Or it could just be also M, since it is her story.
あるいは辺りを探してみるべき。
それを早く言えよな。
Ooh, trial Durin. Okay, I could look at a test build for him. So they kept him at 140. I'm actually hitting that ratio. Same with the pyro bonus. 66 to 200 with 2k attack and a little bit of elemental mastery. 100. I'm not hitting that elemental mastery. I'm at like 80, less than 80. Signature weapon. C3. I'm actually at C2, so it's very close to what I could possibly dish out. An extra 3 levels to his burst gives about 30... I'm thinking about his dark version of his burst. It gives about 30% more damage. The Dragon of Dark Decay. The mini missiles do about 30% more damage. The initial burst itself possibly does a little bit more, but I care about the vaporization reaction. So 35% more damage on a C3 on his crowned burst. I could live without that. C2 is where it's the more utility stuff comes into play. And then this gives 33 energy. That's all that. The energy recharge is all that matters with this elemental skill, anyways. The damage is meh. It's meant to put you in whatever phase you want to use, support or DPS, burst, and then I'm thinking about maybe getting this to level 8, his attack, because I do like infusion, especially if I team him up with Bennett, and his pyro infusion, that could help him. Look for potential gifts.
客人たちはついにプレゼント。
合ってたみたいだな。
客人たちは考えました。彼は戦士のごとく剣を振って世界を救う道を歩もう
Yeah,
とする
so
でしょうか。
again, if you haven't played the Simulacra event, the sword has more importance. Durin is also a sword user. It is the logical choice to people who played that. But you could also try to flip the script. Give him a slingshot or a mage book.
それともレンジャーのように弓を引き、それとも学者のように本を。
そんなこと言われたらお前確かに。これはお前の
Oh,
プレゼント
look at that,
だ
look at that. The pen is mightier than the sword. Could he choose the pen? Make his own story?
僕が選ぶの
It is a highlighted item, look at that.
なんか
They're trying to
不
play
思
it
議な感じだな。
No, I'm choosing the pen. It's an obvious Chekhov's gun situation. It didn't do a full zoom in, but it's there.
僕は
And
お
the
母さんが
highlights
書いた
on it makes it an
物語の中で
interactable
過ごして
object.
きた。だからオルビット城の積み木の小人みたいに、お母さんの物語には全てが書かれてると思ってたんだ。あの時の僕は何が欲しかったんだろう。
じゃあちょうどいい機会だ。シムランカを出てこの世界に来てからもうだいぶ経ってるだろ。
うん。
Yeah, it's been about 2 years. Or, no, a year plus. Of course, I'm gonna choose the pen. That's the obvious answer here.
客人たちが見つけたのは物語の魔法使いのペン。
つまりこれは魔女 M のペンってことか？
うん。よく文字を書く音で起こされてた。亡くなる前の数年間はいつも夜遅くまで机に向かってた。まるでそう。お母
Trying
さ
to
んも
finish his
死んだ
story,
し
maybe, or trying to write the world of the Simulanka for him while before she passed away. Oh, really? I think the pen is the better gift here. We could do it one more time. Can I choose it? Nope.
客人たち
Dang, it's just a flavor
亡
text
くなる前の
situation.
数年間お母さんの
-2 ink. Let's just see if there's anything else I could touch beforehand. Could I touch the mini Durin while he's sleeping? Nope. Could I touch the
魔法
Dodokos?
使いたちは引き続き歓談を続けており、プレゼン
Thank
ト
you,
を
narrator.
持たざる
Just gonna walk all over your
構う
stuff.
暇などないと言わんばかりの態度でした。
Okay, so if the pen is not a choosable action, it's gonna have to be the sword that played a story in his Simulanka event.
客人は戦士の剣をプレゼント
And
に
it does look like the
選びます
the legendary hero sword
デュリンは戦士になりたかったの
the
か
Wanderer had to wield against his own will.
戦士かアルベドとナドくらいに言ってこの世界には戦うことでしか解決できないみんなの役にそう
Not enough? I choose it all, maybe? I break the mold, choose all of it. Instead of one, you get 3 gifts.
今度は止められないよな。
こんにちは
困難を乗り越える戦士になれるようにと物語の魔法使いは客人たちの祝福を受け入れ彼らをパーティーに招待しました。物語の魔法使いは正式に友人たちに竜の子を紹介しその時占いが得意な予言の魔法使いは星々から視線を戻し竜の子を
Sorrowful glance. Oh, she knows his history.
悪竜と同じ名前をつけたのかい？
そうでも悪竜とは違う人生を与えたいと思ってる。
愚かな愛だね。名前とは運命そのもの。悪竜の名前を持っている限り
Inherit the
彼は
fate.
必
Ooh.
ず悪竜の運命に直面することになる。これは予言だよ。
それなら場にいる魔法使いたちは沈黙しました。
Proven wrong. Ooh, maybe that's why she was OP.
外れたことなど
She could rewrite fate.
ただの道
Even
も
though she
ない
died
と
of
知って
old
いる
age,
から
she
です
was again one of the Hexen Circle, and it seems she was pretty powerful in her time. Almost an equal to Alice.
しかし皆
Imagine if she was like an elf too and lived a little bit longer. She'd be a menace.
疑いようのないほど固いことも分かっていました。耐え難い沈黙を破って立ち上がったのは
The merry witch, which is Alice, you know, happy-go-lucky, moves by her own rhythm.
じゃあみんなで力を合わせてこの子の運命を変えちゃいましょ
この世界の最も本質的なルールに挑むというのかい？
う。世界のルールに縛られるなんてつまらない。むしろルールに挑戦する方が魔女の集まりにふさわしいでしょ。
面白い実験
Ooh,
になりそう
Nicole
だ
gets
な
the sage title, even though she's kind of aloof herself.
成功すればこの退屈な星空も少しは面白くなるかもしれないね。
愉快な魔法使いは今まで何度もそうしてきたように彼女は太陽のように強くて暖かくて魔法使いたちはそれぞれプレゼントを準
J,
備し
O,
ま
and
した。
R. The 3 seats are missing.
この宇宙における三重の奇跡
Which doesn't make sense because J should have left her seat up to her successor. I don't know if it's at the time it's still Scarlet. Scarlet was the one who is one of the many successors of the J codename in the Hexen Circle. Yet she wasn't invited, or maybe she was busy. Because again, this seems recent. We don't know how old Durin is since the Simulanka or Simulankra. The Simulanka was made for Durin, but we don't know when he was actually born prior to the Simulanka itself. So, while M was still writing the Simulanka for Durin, He could have been like 100 years old by then. We don't know when this timeline fits actually.
わしは
Unless I
天の
missed that.
ささやきを解き明かし、彼に運命の企みを明示しよ
だったら私は世界の根源を解析する数式を残し、彼の命のもう一つの解を求めよう。
じゃあ私は不思議な魔法で彼の願いが叶うようお手伝いする。
物語の魔法使いはとあるペンしか持っていませんでした。私は完璧とは言えない結末の続きをかけるよう魔女たちの祝福を受け、竜の子の運命は、悪竜の名を受け継いだ竜の子は悪竜の運命を背負うことになる。予言の魔法使いによるそんな予言。しかし物語の魔法使いは子供の運命を書き換えると宣言しま
Okay,
した
it's just retelling what just happened, so in more simple terms, without the flavor text or the
決
fluff.
心でもあった。他の魔法使いたちからのプレゼントはこの宇宙でもめったに見られないような奇跡でした。
You know, this is also a slap to
彼女たちは
Rheindotter,
友人の深
who
い愛を
probably at this time is already the Shade of
自分
Life.
たちの好奇心を
So,
満
a
たすた
Shade
め
of
に
Life,
この
who
世界の
also, I
ルール
think
に
before she
挑んだ
became
の
the
で
Shade
す
of Life, also made the evil dragon, unless...
おっと
No, maybe
So,
Rheindotter
so.
was already the Shade
新
and
しい
thus made the
客
evil
人たち
dragon?
も祝福を送ったことを
Either way,
書き添えなくては
Rheindotter likes to make life prior to being the Shade of Life, and now even as a Shade of Life, which is her role to make life and all that stuff. The fact that M made another version of her dragon, another form of life, again, is kind of like a big middle finger to Rheindotter, which I'm actually all for because she did a bunch of like sketchy stuff. And that was
これ
quick.
でこのショーも完成したみたいだ。
30 minutes. That's all it took for this. The Daily
あの
Durin
魔
story.
法使いたちって魔女会のメンバーだろ。でも魔女たちの言ってたことは謎気になる
悪竜の運
か。でもそれってすでに解決した話だろ。
Oh right, yeah. It could be something that already happened. Not actually Durin's future from this point, but this future from the past's perspective, which is the Stimulanka event, where he was actually acting out like an evil dragon, and we did slay him in a sense with the toy sword. So that prophecy already happened. That could be the fate that Barbarloth was talking about. Shared the same fate as the evil dragon, which happened in Stimulanka, thus making peace with that. Now he's allowed to do whatever he wants, being a real boy, part dragon and all that.
それと気になったんだけど、
保管っていうより新しい内容を書き込んだだけっぽかったよ。あ、でもインクが消えたのは確かだぞ。
じゃあ順調ってことなのかな。うん。お母さんの残した思いってことで、今回もありがとう。
じゃあまた次の
And now we wait another day. I don't forget. Oh yeah, I can technically open it and revisit some of the choices, so I could choose like the book
ちょっと
or
こ
the
の本を
slingshot.
じっくり、もし物語のせ
But I like to keep my choices as is. But yeah, I could just do my daily grind and farm stuff now. Oops.
部外者禁止。完成。
And let's test out the
極寒。
the melt. 100k melts. I like it. 100k melts without the Benny buff. Okay, let's work on that battle pass. Happy birthday to Nouvelette. Cool. It's his birthday, unless I missed it. I could also work on the other Hex and Rye buffs, which don't take too long. I could do Sucrose and Fischl. I use them often, so they could work. I don't need to do Razor, because he's not level 70. Who's the other Hex and Rye giver? Oh yeah, I have to work on the battle pass of the Miliostra. Dang it. Okay, it's fine. Where is the Hexenrai stuff? I guess it's gone since I already did the initial quest. Ben resin, ley lines, forge items, currency. Stygian onslaught, accumulate the desire points or dire prestige. That requires me to spend resin on the Stygian onslaught. I think it's already too late for me to even attempt it. So I'll skip that. I don't need the feather. Okay, so what should I be farming is the question. Pinwheel, lily pads, flower scroll, bellflower or hanging flower, judgment, moon, and sun. You do trout stamens. Yeah, you know what? Trout stamens. I need to get the billets. I'm still working on the... what do you call it? The weapon for Lauma. I need one of these things. The Borderland ones. And you only get them from... Natland boss? Yeah, only the Natland boss, actually. The Modstat one gives the Modstat billets, even though it's still the newer boss. The newer weeklies. Kinda don't like that. Middle. That's middle. Yeah, that's middle. There's a lot of middle ones. Inazuma was still northern. Northland. Durin requires dragon parts, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have enough. Okay, I don't technically need Durin or dragon boss materials, I just need the belays. What about Nefer? Am I done with Nefer? I already crowned her elemental skill, which is where her damage comes from. She needs the chest piece, which I do have enough. I think I'm just gonna leave her at single crown. The damage bonus from the elemental burst is actually just pure dendro, not reaction dendro, so it doesn't get boosted from the lunar bloom damage stuff. Just pure dendro, so I could ignore that. Who came before Nefer? Flynn's and then Lauma. Okay, let me look at Lauma. Her burst is already max stacks, which again increases the damage for Nefer, so do I need to... Oh, I could actually level this up. If I wanted to. I could leave it at level 10 or level 9. What do I get out of it? Elemental res... Ooh, yeah, it also shreds, right. I forgot her elemental skill shreds Dendro. And Hydro. Yeah, a little bit of shredding for Nephers could go a long way, even though it's 2%. 2.5. Level that up. A 25 flat is actually pretty good. If you, the fact that she also has Dendro resistant shred on 2-piece deep wood, that's 55%. 55 shredding on Dendro, which is good for my Nefer. Oh, you're not even using this anymore. Right. Energy recharge is more important than damage. Okay, maybe I don't need the belay anymore. I gave up on this weapon. Who else could utilize bloom damage besides Llama? Well, DPS Llama would probably use this, but I already have Nefer, so I don't need DPS Llama. Okay, maybe I don't do the dragon. About Flynn's? Skirk is already triple crowned, right? Yep. And then Flynn's... double crowned. I'm not going to triple crown him, because he's mostly... his rotation is pretty generous. I could apply the buffs before I need to use his elemental skill. Basic attacks don't even do jack for him, so leave that as is. I could do some of this. It is moon right now, right? Oh, it's a different moon. Elysium versus Moonlight. Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know what to farm. I gotta spend my resin on something. Okay, you know what? Future Columbina stuff. I do need a lot of Heroes Wits and a lot of Mora since I was working on Jehoda too. Oh, speaking of Jehoda, maybe finalize Jehoda. Level 80 at least. She's fine as is, but I could increase her healing potential. Do I even need to level up her talents? It doesn't really do much. Just the burst for the healing, and then she's good at level 70. Okay, maybe I'll skip Jehoda. So what I need is more Mora and more Heroes Wits for future Columbina leveling. What am I sitting at? Gold, I'm hitting 2 million. That could easily go away pretty quickly. Heroes Wits, that's actually not a lot. Yeah, okay. 200 resin to Heroes Wits. Am I gonna commit? Yeah, I'm gonna commit. Because I did also get the battle pass. You get a bunch of like Mora and Heroes Wits from the battle pass too, so might as well double dip. Ooh, shield guy. Yes, 200. Next hero location is a little bit more north. Also got a heal Ganyu. She's about to die. And it seems like the particle generation... Again, Layla and Ganyu, since I gave them Favonius and decent crit stats, their burst could also trigger the particle generation, which is nice. I'm gonna always have like their burst up ready. Which is good. You just do this. You do this. You do this. Heal Ganyu just in case. Again, whoever needs healing gets on the field. Not sure if this is going to work on a boss, though. Boss level stuff is kind of gimmicky. Layla's shield does not protect me at all. It's honestly just there to generate particles. The shield is pretty paper thin. She only has like what, 17k HP? And that shield does nothing at that level of HP for Ganyu or Layla. Oops, they're shooting at me. Yeah, one rotation, pretty much everybody's burst is back up. I like it. I like this better than Vape. Only 8? Really? Ew. It's kind of low. I wonder if I should just turn this into a Monster Hunter stream as well. Nah, I'll save Monster Hunter for like the weekend. Shield up? Maybe I should do Layla first. I could get the shield out first. Ooh, I didn't get the oh no, the particles are back. Yeah, they have enough particles. Yeah, maybe Layla first, so that I could get the shield out in the first rotation, because Ganyu's animation kind of locks her out for a couple of seconds. I think it would be better if I do Layla first and then Ganyu's iframes with her burst. Something like this, iframes. And funny enough, I actually don't see these kinds of this team on the recommended team list of possible team comps. They, of course, Lali would be the better bet, but someone should suggest this to people who have a Layla at least and a Ganyu. Just change Ganyu to Cryo Applier. You don't need her like best weapons and all that stuff. You just need her burst, and that's good enough. It's actually a really cheap burst too, considering it's only 60, 100% uptime, 15-15, duration and cooldown, so once it's done, if you have your energy, pop it again. Layla, on the other hand, I think there is a small discrepancy? No, exactly the same, 12 and 12, and if I'm not mistaken, one of her constellations actually increases the duration. Shield stronger, energy back. Party members get a normal attack and charge attack increase. Shooting stars deal more damage. Additionally, the interval... Oh! C6 would help apply cryo a little bit faster too. Okay, maybe in the future, maybe more Layla constellations if I have the choice. The star shooting from Knight's Formal Focus. Knight's Formal Focus is her skill. Dream of the Star. Additionally, into for night size via the focus. Oh no, it's from the shielding. Yeah, the shielding is kind of slow in terms of the star generations and the shooting.
邪魔しないで。
Yeah, that is slow. It needs to form 4 first before it shoots. Then it auto locks in. So there's no enemies around me, so it's not going to shoot, but... that was a little bit quicker.
完成。
Again, more hydro application, but again, the burst is more important. So a C6, maybe not. If that affected her burst too, it's not saying anything about the burst. It says the intervals between the Knights of Focus, formal focus, is decreased. So probably can skip the C6 now. I read that wrong. Okay, that is the resin. That is daily comms. Looking at the battle pass, I can do teapot stuff. Mining stuff. Leyline challenges is pretty easily too. I could just do... no, not leyline, it's the domains. Already did the domains, okay, so... furnishing, teapot, forge items. Maybe level up a couple more artifacts. That is tied to Primo, so maybe I should do that. I should also change the... what I'm mining for. I set up every expedition to be a little bit of money. Mora. Usually I have like 1 or 2 people mining this stuff for forging, so I should probably change that back.
星とし無事今日の
Here comes... yeah, bonus Mora. An extra 1,000 doesn't really matter. Okay, I could do Sumeru. Yeah, do they actually have Sumeru as a... no, they don't. Sumeru does not even have... okay, Sumeru with Mora. Mod stats should be the crystals for mining. There's 2 locations, just 1. Reduce the time consumed, which is that. Leeway. Mora. Inazuma. You gain more. I'd rather have it quicker. Not Cry, I do like those crystals for. Consume, reduce time, another 14 minutes. And one more one. Ooh, Natlan doesn't have anyone. I don't have anyone that does Natlan stuff. Okay. Fontaine. Gain more rewards. Nope. We'll make it quicker. Reduce the time. I guess one more mod stat then. Reduce the time. There we go. Everybody has a 15-hour limit. I'm getting Nodcry stuff. Money, and crystals. Speaking of crystals, go to this guy. Ragnar. Claim the one that I already had cooking. Nice, then cook some more. I think I already cooked food, so I just need to make teapot stuff. Teapot furniture. Teapot furniture 10, and claim the coins. Okay. Ooh, the teapot. Oh, I don't even have the max one. Okay, still 2,000 is good enough. Yo, hey, so there was somebody from YouTube's side. Okay, I'm glad I put up the YouTube comments up. Glad about that. There is a delay if you're hearing this. There's like about 7-second delay for me to responding, at least on the YouTube side. Twitch is a little bit more responsive for me because OBS says I've been streaming for 44 minutes. YouTube is behind by 7 or 6 seconds, give or take. That's kind of no, that's close enough. Yes, I dual stream because why not? I have the power to do it. Why not? It's just the YouTube aspect or the comment aspect. I haven't combined both chats yet, which would be easier for myself because I have to read Twitch chat in a separate tab on OBS, and then the YouTube chat is another tab. So again, I keep saying this. I never do it. I should combine the chat somehow. It just requires me to download a plugin for OBS, and usually my mind forgets about that stuff. But hey, welcome to the YouTube side. It's fine. You found me this way. Let me get used to it, right? How about that? I'm fine with being used to the YouTube chat side. It's good. It's more a me problem because I could respond if I just read one single chat tab. But how you doing? How are you on this like late afternoon, this Thursday afternoon / evening? Take it you like Genshin. That's why you're here. I'm just working on the battle pass stuff and the daily, you know, the 5-day Durin quest, IRL. The story quest is 5 days worth of coming back. Oh, it's in the morning for you. Okay, so we're a different side of the world. I'm in the North American side, Canada, so you're quite literally 12 hours away from me. These days feel cold. Honestly, Canada, today was a warm day, all things considering, even though it's winter. Yesterday was cold. The couple of days before that was also cold. We got like a nice wettish winter right now. I think it's starting to melt ever so slightly, but that could change in like, what, a day or two? Everything just could, the temperature could drop dramatically and we could go back to freezing temps. Don't like that at all. Oh yeah, I can make the new stuff that I got from the event. Let's make this. Don't know what this is. Metal flowers. The cute Farzan. 4 more items I need to create that I haven't created yet. 2 more. Natlan drums. Okay, boom. Speed create these. Obtain all. Working on that battle pass before I forget about it. Oops. Okay. So I should be hitting level 30. I think I could claim my weapon. What weapon should I get? Yes, I am the NA server. So sadly, if you do have an account or if you want to help, if you need help, I can't. I know it sucks. I really hope one day we have cross-server play ability in the future, but I don't think Hoyo is going to do that. Shame. Okay, I'm gonna work on some artifacts to get the 20 primo as well. So, name that level 30. Okay, help me make a choice while you're here, Sani. What weapon should I get from the battle pass? So I already have a rank 5 black sword, and I think I already have a stint copy of it. Let me see. No, I only have 1 copy. Oh wait, no, rank 4, really? Okay. The black sword, its effect, I don't really need a rank 5. It's just meant for healing. Not gonna lie. And if I enhance it one more time, it's actually a 40% increase on normal attacks, but that's minor to be fair. What other battle pass weapon do I have? I already have a rank 5 wolf fan, so I don't need an extra copy. Yeah, I know, I'm thinking about it, but I don't use that many battle pass weapons besides those 2, because all of them are kind of like gimmicky. I do have... Okay, I already have a rank 5 deathmatch, because that one's always a good all-round weapon. You get attack and defense stats, it's a crit rate. I do have one copy of the ballad, but nobody uses it because it requires you to have a rainbow team. Typically, rainbow teams are kind of meh, and only for 120 elemental mastery. If I get it to rank 5, maybe that extra elemental mastery would be worth it to do a rainbow team. Let me quickly look up what a rank 5 ballad looks like in terms of its passive. Ballad of the Freljord. Rank 5 gives about only 240. 240 is not worth it to do Rainbow Party in my personal opinion. Even if the character is heavily reliant on EM. Okay, so Ballad, for the aesthetics, Ballad of the Ford looks pretty cool. It's a freaking trident. And I think it's longer too than the deathmatch, so it has that cool length to it, but... I already have a Serpent Spine and a Solar Pearl. I believe they're also maxed rank. Where's a Catalyst user? Solar Pearl is not max ranked at 4, so maybe I could get one of those. It's good for Heizo and also the Wanderer as a backup weapon, because normal attacks are pretty built into his kit. What was the other weapon that I had? Solar Pearl and Serpent Spine Claymore. Serpent Spine's at rank 1. Maybe I could do Serpent Spine. Rank 2? Yeah, you know what, I'm just gonna start working with Serpent Spine. It's a good backup weapon, and at rank 5, you get at least a decent amount of damage increase. Okay, Serpent Spine it is. I don't need a new gimmicky weapon that I won't level up. Yeah, Serpent Spine is always good. I don't know why I haven't had that at least level 4 yet. It's one of the OG weapons too, and you can never go wrong with it. And we had a free wish too. Nice. Okay, weekly, I would use up all my resin. Can't do that because I have no resin. I have to wait for the weekend for this. I don't do TCG anymore because I'm lazy, so I guess artifact creation for the Primo. An artifact set that I need more, especially for Durin and a lot of people. A lot of people are sharing whatchamacallit. The Noblesse set. I need an extra pair of Noblesses all around. I don't have enough. Okay, so let's level up a couple of Noblesse if I have some in my inventory. Looks like I don't have any Noblesse in my inventory. Yeah, I don't. Funny enough. What looks good? What does look good? I'm looking for like crit stat stuff. I need maybe like a general goblet or some kind. Like a floater piece with decent crit stats. Yeah, again, I do like the auto lock-in, but sometimes they lock in artifacts that are not good. Like this one, I wouldn't lock this in personally because it doesn't have crits. It doesn't have crit rate on it. But again, it auto locks in, so I probably should unlock that. Leave it up to be devoured. This one's pretty good. Crit rate on both, but the HP scaling and defense are kind of risky. This one's pretty good as well. Crit rate, energy recharge, pretty good, pretty good. Take this one, don't need that. This one has an unactivated one, which also is pretty chunky. It's pretty good. Crit. And that, don't need that. Don't need that. Crit rate. Don't need that. Ooh, 7% hidden. That's actually pretty big. 7.8 here, 7 here. The bigger the hidden one is, the more I could probably roll it to become something huge. Don't need that. This has energy recharge status. Oh, you know what? I do need more energy recharge main stats as a floater piece for a lot of my particle generation teams, so I'll level up this one. And Layla's in the background just yelling. Let's put you as Durin. I think Durin's more quiet in the background. What was I leveling up? I was leveling up something. Be at the very bottom here. This one? Energy recharge? Right. Wow, I missed twice already. This is already bad. Do I continue? Donnie, do I continue on this? I already missed twice on the crit stats. It's very important to hit it early, or else it's, you know what? No, nah. Yeah, okay. So this was already a flop. So I'll feed that to the next one. Dang, that sucked that I missed twice. Okay, defense, HP, energy recharge, but it doesn't have crit rate on it, so nope. Pyro with no crit rate, Hydra with no crit, attack, Geo. None of these are good. They only lock. I only left it to auto lock because it has the elemental bonus, but it doesn't have any crit stats on it. This one's pretty okay. Attack stat. Crit damage with no crit rate. Defense. That could be good for like a Geo character. I could keep that. Okay, maybe Wandering Troop set. What looks good? No crit damage, HP with no crit rate. Crit damage with no crit rate. No. HP scaling. Who could use crit damage on this? Nuvalet could use this. Farina could use this. Any Hydro characters that scales off of HP but also need crit damage? I think just those two. Ooh, another Deepwood set. Crit damage, no crit rate, Pyro. Healing bonus. Ooh, okay, I do have somebody who needs the healing bonus, but also the crit stats. Jehoda could use this. Defense scaling with crit stats. Plunging bonus. Ugh, none of these are good. What happened to this one? Elemental Mastery and crit rate. Maybe I was working on this. I did miss on the crit damage though, so maybe I should give up on this one too. Yeah, the crit damage is more important, so it's kind of low that I missed twice, or 4 times actually. Pyro damage. Ooh, Electro. And I could actually give this to somebody as a floater piece. Sino, Flynn's, Raiden Shogun. Yeah, okay, you know what? Electro bonus damage. This looks good. Let's try our luck. I'll feed the select material to ones that I've messed up. Why is this one not locked? It's level 20, but it's not locked. Am I giving this up? I think I'm giving this one up. Yeah, I think I'm... Let's feed that. And see what we get. Oh, hard miss on everything. Okay, this really flopped. No. Yeah, oh god. Seeing those numbers appear on the stats that you don't want kind of hurts. Elemental Mastery with crit stats. This is a good floater piece again. So, feed that and that. Actually, no. These two. Level 18. Am I gonna hit or am I gonna miss? When across the board, that's not bad. The crit damage became 14. That's pretty big, but oof. Not gonna lie, this could work on Zhongli or Ito because Ito's defense scaling, but also some attack on the side is not bad either. I don't have Ito though, so it's not bad. If the last roll could go on crit damage to be like 20%, I'll take it. Let's give. Okay. Come on, crit damage. Sonny, I'm gonna say you're my lucky star here. Come on. Crit defense! Ooh! I'll hold on to that. I don't have defense scaling people yet. But again, it's good to have that. That's actually a good floater for defense. And oh wait, no, it's elemental mastery. Shoot. Its main stat's elemental mastery. That is not good. That's not good with Ito at all. I forgot about that. Do I chalk this up to be fed or do I keep it? I don't know. That did kind of like work on my battle pass though. So let me claim that first. And I got the last one of that. Okay, I could stop making mistakes. Ugh. Honestly, this took a while. Like some of these things are not as good as you'd think. And let's use my Skirk as an example. Skirk and my Flins. Skirk? Well, that's not Skirk. Hello, Skirk. Skirk, for her artifacts, I made 2 of them using the what you call it? Was it the feathers? No, the sanctifying elixir. English, please. Which tool was that? It's the typewriter. This thing. Most of the times, if I really want to double down on a character and get the important piece, I will use the sanctifying elixirs. Especially if you get it from the Stygian Onslaught. I missed this month's Stygian Onslaught because I started late and it's December. Everybody's busy during December. So Stygian Onslaught, I missed my opportunity to get a feather to re-roll. The feathers are good for re-rolling artifacts. Like, let's say you saw those... How many times did I re-roll my Skirk artifacts to get the crit damage to be like 80% or 28? So farming the feathers are important in case you don't want to throw away an artifact. You just re-roll them, but that's another RNG aspect to it, right? I managed to get this to 21 and some crit rate. I managed to get this to be 13 crit rate on top of the crit damage it gives. So it's very important to farm those feathers. Right, look at that. 20 on that and crit rate as well. This is a good floater piece. I use this for a lot of people who need to like share artifacts. This is a good crit rate and crit damage artifact. And that I did roll it. I did reshape it. Look at the reshaping. I did it a couple of times. Flynn's was another example, a more recent example where I actually rolled something for him. Was it this one? I forget which one I rolled for him, but again, feathers are important. If you didn't do the IT theater, where's the IT theater? Where's the world map? This, oh, not this one. This, the imaginary theater. You need to do. Let me teleport there. Every month we could get at least 1 or 2 sanctifying elixirs, and then you could hoard them. I really recommend hoarding those elixirs for that one character that you just want to make OP. Because artifacts play a big deal in making a build. Like you can make a crappy character, even a 4-star character, damage dealing because of the crit stats that you give them via artifacts. Very important to making OP carries that you have. Where is it at? The treasures. Can I not access it? I guess I can't access it again because I already claimed it. But one of the rewards is a sanctifying elixir. If I think you do level 10 or level 9. Where are the rewards? Here we go. The stellar rewards. Yeah, collecting the stars. The stars are only important for this. And so most of the time they're easy. I tend to try to get 10 stars because of perfectionism, and also I want to get 10 stars. But yeah, every month I could get at least one of these things to make my artifacts. Currently I have 6, which is kind of low, because the main artifacts that you want to make are the ones that have crit damage, but also elemental scalings, like the helmet and the goblet. Yeah. With 8, you could possibly make only 2 good artifacts. 2. It's very expensive to get those really hard artifacts that you farm for. Let's use an example. So the crown, you always want crit damage anyways, right? So you put crit damage as the main stat, and of course, if crit damage is the main stat, you would want crit rate on the side. Depending on who's the character you're building for, you pick the next possible stat that helps their build. Either attack percentage, energy recharge, most of the time is pretty good, elemental mastery if they're a reaction-based character, and then you make it, right? Confirm. See, look, that thing costs 3 to make. 3 sanctifying elixirs. That's 3 months of IT theater. Just baseline IT theater. Imaginary theater. That's disregarding possible events in between those 3 months, just to make one good artifact, which you still have to roll. The goblet, on the other hand, costs 4, because you do want the... The goblet costs 4, this costs 3, that's 5. Your 8 sanctifying elixirs that you have right now could make only 2 good artifacts. It hurts. It hurts, but it's important because, again, if you really want to commit to a character and you want their damage to be top tier and perfect, yes. Exactly. So most people just save for the goblet and the crown. The crowns are also, you can just use a floater piece most of the time for the crowns because it's crit damage and crit rate. That's all you care for. It's the goblet that costs 4. So if you're only focusing on the goblet, you could make 2 perfect goblets, and then you have 0 sanctifying elixirs. So your 8 that you hoarded for I don't know how long you had those, creates 2 things only. For 2 of your characters. And that's disregarding the fact that you could possibly roll defense stats onto it. So if you don't want to get rid of them, that's where the feathers come into play. Feathers are harder to farm because they're easier to spend too. So you make the sanctifying elixirs via this. You spend the feathers to make your perfect artifact so you don't feel like it wasted. Right? I don't throw out the artifacts that I created via the sanctifying elixir like this. I just keep re-rolling it till I get it into like the stat that I wanted, because if you throw away or delete or you feed it to another artifact, it just feels like, why did I even roll for the sanctifying elixir anyways? It's a reminder that it's not perfect. It's not going to get you those perfect stats even though you put the perfect stats that you wanted. Like 20 on that bad boy. I know I spent 1 artifact, like a bunch of feathers. I'm trying to remember who did I do that for. Was it one of Flynn's artifacts? Let me look. No, not this one. I did the whole mileage on it too. Like it says here, after the deep decree reset, it always gives it all. So maybe it was Skirk. 20? No. I forget who, but I put in a lot of feathers into 1 artifact. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's just... Those are 2 very important items to hoard if you have the opportunity. Always try to get it. So, another piece of advice. The next time the Stygian Onslaught comes around, when it's fresh, always when it's fresh, spend your resin on the Stygian Onslaught to farm artifacts, but also to get the feather. Right? You need to spend resin into the Stygian Onslaught to build up this bar to get at least one free feather. And there's always one staging onslaught at least per month. So this is not as hard as the sanctifying elixirs to get, which requires you to do the IT theater. It's spend resin on an artifact farming as well as getting a feather, and then you get this, you hoard it once a month, boom bam. You could re-roll a perfect artifact once in a while, like pure crit stats to like 80 or to like 30%, 28 to 30% to get those crit stats. It's really good. Yeah, it just shows how important resin is. You can't split focus on builds. You gotta dedicate like a week of resin to one thing and one thing only until you complete it, and then the next week following you focus on maybe talents and then building up the artifacts, getting Mora. So again, within 1 week, dedicate one thing to farm. So it doesn't like drive you crazy that you didn't get this perfect artifact and then you could have used it on something else. Commit to one thing so that you're like, okay, this week wasn't that bad, or this week didn't go this way, but at least you're still doing the farm intended. Because funny enough, I've never had Mora problems up until last week. Last week I pulled for Durin, but I also got a C6 Jehoda, and I built them back to back. And that was after the fact that I just finished building Flynn's, Nefer, and Lauma. I'd never had Mora problems, and then when building Durin, I wasn't keeping track, but I ran out of Mora, and I was shook. I was shook that I ran out of Mora, and I was like, when did that happen? And then I recounted the fact that I built so many 5 stars back to back, and I didn't farm in between them either. Like, I took breaks in between Lauma, Nefer, Flynn's, and all that stuff, so I finished building them, I didn't get my resources back up, and then I got hit with You're Broke. I got hit with You're Broke with Mora and Hero's Wits, and I was just like, oh god, I gotta slow down. I was doing Hero's Wits up until... Well, no, I did Hero's Wits today, too. At the start of the stream, I also did some Hero's Wits with my resin, so... I gotta build this back up, as well as my Mora count. Because 2 million is actually not a lot to finish a character. A character's talents, levels, and possible weapon building if you need a new weapon for them, so... maybe next week, if I feel like I'm in a good place with the Hero's Wits, I will farm more Mora. Because, okay, I'm gonna pull for Columbina. Sani, are you gonna pull for Columbina? The quote-unquote Archon of Nodcry. If you're gonna pull for Columbina, I gotta start saving. Yeah, see, like, you gotta start now. Like, I pulled C2 Durin yesterday, and my funds are now going towards Columbina, which is from now. Well, it started yesterday. From yesterday till her possible release in January in the new year. You gotta... Oof. No guarantees. Yeah, so if you're gonna keep on top of that, so where's the calendar? I know Hoyo has a calendar for upcoming events, but the guaranteed primos you should be at least focusing on, where you could build it, is daily comms, the usual. World quest that you haven't completed. It's always good to do world quest. Exploration of some islands you haven't done. If you haven't fully explored Nodcry has a good system to get easy chests. Like, the compass and Nodcry was so easy to explore, you could get these 100% easily. If you haven't done that, that's another source of primo. Every month you do the Abyss Reset and the IT Theater. It doesn't matter, you don't have to 100% it. You just need to get those primos that are given to you and get the easy primos out of it. So maybe the first couple of floors, you don't need to do floor 12. Floor 12 tends to be a headache sometimes. Like, this floor 12... is the plunging boss, which I absolutely hate and never completed in time because it's so tight. So there's 100 primos I'm missing here, actually. But I don't think I'm gonna do it because I hate plunging. Hate this boss. The Enhancer mech. So that's a source of primos. Just get the first 3 floors pretty easily. and then you're good to go. Get the IT theater as much as you possibly can. Another source of free primos is daily events, or the events that come in pretty quickly. Stay on top of that. And what else could I recommend that's already here that people tend to miss? World quests are gimmicky sometimes. Some of them require you to do, like, you have to come back at a later date, which I absolutely hate. Oh, the Bakinawa! Forgot about that. I want to try something real quickly. Yeah, again, floor 12 is, it's pretty much, you gotta ask yourself when you do floor 12, are you sure? Because the level difference tends to play a hard role in your DPS. If you face a character at level 100, even with perfect stats, in any RPG, that level differential tends to like make you like significantly weaker. Either it makes it tankier, it reduces your damage because you're not on the quote-unquote same level as them. So you take a penalty. There's always those hidden penalties when you're facing anything that's higher level than you. It should be noted that that's a typical RPG mechanic. Most of the time it's not explained though, because it should come with experience that, okay, this thing's level 100. Even if it had perfect artifacts, consolations, all that stuff, there is going to be like some things that doesn't feel right. Was it behind the waterfall that I could go? Yes, it was, the Bakinawa. Yeah, so floor 12 is, are you sure? If you can, it's fine. Ooh. These things. That. You also gotta play with builds too. Like, I know Ganyu is a DPS, but in this case with Durin, she is an applier of cryo. So her stats don't really matter. You also gotta play with builds, right? If you have a character that does something for your team and is not the main DPS, flip the script, right? This is my current Ganyu for my Durin DPS. Favonius bow. Not even a full set bonus. I just need her energy recharge to be stupidly high and to have some crit rate for Favonius bow, and that's her build. Same with Layla. Layla is supposed to be the quote-unquote shielder. She has no HP. She has 17k HP. Her shielding is paper thin. But I gave her also another Favonius sword and 70% crit rate. These two alone generate particles for these two, which helps with the burst rotation. They also apply the cryo, which helps my DPS Durin melt like crazy. Yeah, sometimes you don't even have to stick to the meta. It's just whatever works for you. Take builds that you get online as a reference point, but not a for sure that you have to do. Dude, can I not face the Bakinawa again? I swear I could go back. Can I not? I can. Yeah, okay. I can go back to the Bakinawa. If memory serves, oh god, this is a stupid puzzle. You go forward. Make a left. And then we're good to go. Okay. Such a weird roundabout way to get to the Bakinawa fight again. I mean, there's still a lot more walking. Godzilla. The reason why I'm facing Godzilla is because he's technically related to Durin, another creation of Reindator. And Durin is technically, at this point, a creation of Reindator and M. Two Hexen Circle witches. That's pretty— oh god, that hurt! Jesus Christ, that hurt.
私の意のままに
I gotta remember the gimmick is I have to use the ability
完成
when he punches. Too soon! Too soon! There we go. Okay. Too soon. There, blow up the arm. Get inside here. Shoot the left arm. I'm gonna have Durin do this. I am your younger sibling. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Even though this is not doing anything, I just want to do it. Very cinematic, but again, it's just a gimmicky fight. It just looks cool. The music's on point. It's a freaking Godzilla. Doing it again. Too soon! Dang it! Okay. I really gotta work on that timing. You know, I'm gonna try something.
この仕事は排除するべき
Am I close enough? Am I doing the vape? Okay, I gotta time it. When the arm grabs. Now! Walk inside the portal. I'm gonna have Durin do this because it's better for him to do it. Kamehameha! Then he has the fake arms. Yeah, I might need to put Durin or Benny out just in case. Yeah, maybe a shield. Why not? Oh, I did get hit by that. So he has all the elements. He's doing Geo Stomps, he has Crystal or Cryo Lances. He did like an Animo Nuke. Did we see him use Electro? I don't think he uses Electro. I could be wrong. Okay, have Durin do this again. Very, very cinematic. And it's you have to do this daily. I forgot to come back here, but again, you get quest-related, lore-related items. So I was supposed to do this multiple times since it's reveal or since it's release. I just tend to forget because you focus on farming and the new stuff. But yeah, let's quickly read notes number 2. Could be related to Benny, because Benny did come from Natland. Tattered notes. Number 2. So this was the first one. It's the expedition log of, I think, the Wandering Troop, who somehow found themselves stuck with the Bakinauer, and I think that's how the Wandering Troop died? Because they accidentally wandered into like a time slip, essentially, where they went back in time and found the Bakinauer, and then they got stuck there and challenged it, and I think some of them died? This is supposed to be their notes. I'm speed reading this, by the way, so just read it on your own or attempt the Bakinauer yourself. It's pretty simple. They give you the tools to survive it. It's just... it's epic. There's no wind. Saw no monsters today. Nanas. Can't remember. Yeah, it's important for like Benny lore too. So If you want to learn more about Benny, do the Bakinawa daily. But I'm very bad example to do that because I tend to forget too. So I just thought about the Bakinawa. I was like, hey, let's test Durin out. I need another test on Durin. This thing is resistant to pyro, but vaporization wasn't the best. I want to try melt on this thing. Melt could be the solution to kill it. Okay, let's apply the cryo. Am I seeing the melts? Nope, I'm doing reverse melt. Dang it. Okay, I gotta apply cryo on top of it first. Okay, cryo is up. Do that. Oh my god, it sucks. Okay. I messed up because I am doing reverse melt. That's not good. Reverse melt does less damage than forward melt, so let me reset this. I gotta have Ganyu. I'm gonna do this with perfect particles in the beginning, right? I need everybody to have their particles up or their burst ready, so I do initial rotation. I need to kill something. Ganyu needs to get her particles back. Yes, no. Reverse melt is having an enemy have pyro on them and using cryo to trigger melt. It does less damage than the reverse, which if an enemy has cryo on them and you hit them with pyro, forward melt, which does more damage. Same thing happens with vaporization. Yeah, pyro on an enemy, and then you hit them with water or hydro. That's forward vape, which does more damage than the reverse vape, which is there's pyro on an enemy, or there's hydro on an enemy, then you hit them with pyro. That's still technically vaporization, it just does less in the long run, so you gotta be careful with that. I need to hit something. Where is a close enemy that spawns in? Let's go against these guys. It's a gimmicky thing. You don't really need to like in a boss fight or like a team fight, you don't really need to care about that. I'm just trying to get a perfect example to see where my damage could come from, potentially. Yeah, that's a forward melt. Okay, everybody has their particles. Let's test this out. Testing out pyro melt on a pyro-resistant enemy is a good indicator of high damage, because they're technically resistant to the pyro, but if it still hurts like a truck, that's good. That's good news. Okay, she has cryo on her. Do the melt. Ah, it's not hitting. Okay, I need cryo on you. I can't tell with everything's going on the screen, but I think I'm doing forward melt. I think I am. I'm trying to find the big numbers if I could see it on screen. Yeah, the man is too resistant to pyro. Or you know what? I think I'm stupid. Wait. Burst damage. He's there. Oh my god, I just realized what the thing does to me. The butterfly steals crit rate? Yo? That's a thing? Oh, wait, I gotta go back. What is this debuff that the butterfly gives us? Minus crit rate? I did not read that. Butterfly, Moonlight Butterfly. Frosthera. Related with the butterfly. Moonlight. Moon? Radiant Moonfly. Displays Radiant Moonfly possesses mysterious characteristics. Rumors even circle that it could change the element under the right conditions. I've never seen that debuff. Maybe it's the other animals. There's other animals that have that same characteristic. I'm trying to remember what they were. Okay, I'm gonna look this up real quickly. Did you know, Sani, did you know about the negative crit rate that thing gives? Moonfly. If I didn't check my stats, I would have known that it could steal... Yeah, see, I didn't even know it'd steal the crit rate. It's debuff. Usually I kill it quick enough. I kill it quick enough that I don't even get that debuff, but... Radiant Moonfly, yada yada yada. Crystal, HP... Increasing its crit rate by... Wait. Distangled effect. Mooncry... Yeah, okay, here it is. Radiant Cocoon performs Dendroblade or Tail... Okay, so when it becomes its Moon Butterfly state, it applies a debuff. Minus 100 crit rate and minus 100 crit damage. It also reduces healing. Wow, that's OP. The way to beat it is to heal 100%. Benny can't heal 100%, meaning in that fight, if I don't have another healer besides Benny, I'm gonna get hit with that negative crit rate. That makes sense. Wow. Wow. That is a dirty debuff. That is a really big debuff to like most builds. Having your crit rate become pretty much negligent, like non-existent. Unless you have a character who has 100% crit rate, which is like my Flynn's. I've never felt that way before. Like, oh. It's easy. You gotta kill it before it gets to that state. That is a short-term, simple, like, dumb answer, but kill it before it gets into that state, or you have a pure healing team. But it's kind of similar to Bond of Life, if I'm gonna be honest. Bond of Life is, to get rid of the debuff, you need to heal 100%. Yeah, so my example of killing it before it does the thing is Sarakujo. Blins has his proper artifact set. Jehoda, ooh, Jehoda. What did Jehoda run? Same with you. You had this for energy recharge and crit rate because you're also particle generation. Jehoda is also particle generation, so take the bow. I stole the artifacts from... Honestly, I think I stole Ganyu's artifacts, because the same build. Particle generation. Ganyu. I need crit rate now, okay. Crit of the rate. Critus of the rate. Put that. Oh no, that's too low of a crit rate. Oh no, Jehoda could work with Nefer and Flynn's, both of them, because she applies the element that she swirls, which is pretty good. So again, with Jehoda, with Nefer and with Flynn's, you need more Hydro application. So if you do have another Hydro character, and then you do Jehoda's whole rotation, she could be the Hydro applier for your team, which generates Bloom for Nefer's team, which generates the Thunder Strike with Flynn's, which is really good. What could I put on? 11 crit rate? Let's put 11 crit rate. 42, but 250. You know what? I think that's good enough. Jehoda is also a healer, which is nice. Offside healing. She heals the weakest person on the team, which if your main on-field character is already fully HP, she will heal the next person in your party, which is good. It's decent healing. And a team with Aino and Jehoda giving particles to themselves. It's 100% uptime with healing. So here's my example of killing the butterfly. Mind you, I do have a stupid Flynn's. C3. C3 specifically is the best stopping point for Flynn's because his entire damage revolves off of his burst. So getting that extra 3 levels on his burst is nuts. C1 increases the cooldown, or decreases the cooldown for his elemental skill, which means more damage with his burst rotation. And C2 just shreds a little bit of electro. So I don't have shredding on this team, but C3 or C2 Flynn's shreds for himself, which is really good. You would most likely want to put like a Durin or even like a viridescent set user to shred for your electro damage, like Sucrose, Venti, Jean if you want extra healing on the side. But at C2, you could disregard having an animal character on your team. Well, Jehoda could be that person as well, but she most likely is going to shred Hydro because of the reactions that you're going to steal from. So putting viridescent on Jehoda is not necessarily good to shred for electro. But I digress. So C2 shreds for himself, which means more damage for himself in the long run. So yeah, this is a dumb, very dumb Flynn's build, but it works. Look at the HP disappear. So you do this, apply, do Jehoda to apply Hydro again. You apply the heals, apply even more Hydro. You get a Sarakujo buff. You delete health bars. And then you bow because Flynn is very gentleman-like. Yeah, this specific boss gets deleted before he does a thing, so Flynn's damage. And another caveat: C6 Aino, C6 Jehoda. Those two add so much damage to the Flynn's, it's insane. So let's go through the C6. C6. It increases Lunar Bloom and Lunar Charge reactions, which is Flynn's entire damage type. Flynn's does not do electro damage, he does Lunar Charged. So it gets a benefit from this. That's a 35% increase on Flynn's damage. Chunky. Jehoda C6. Any Nodkrai character gets a damage boost to crit rate and crit damage. 40% crit damage. Nuts on a Flynn's with, what's the stats on my Flynn's? That's 265 crit damage on Flynn's. Once Jehoda fills up her elemental skill. And that lasts for about 20 seconds. Anything that lives longer than that 20 seconds, I could ready do the rotation again, meaning it's 100% uptime if I'm facing something that lives longer than that 20 seconds. Because by the time I finish Flynn's rotation, that buff should be gone, but I should be ready to reapply it again. So Jehoda with Aino, that buff is 100% time. 100% uptime with the proper rotation. So that's good. If you slap on this artifact set with Flynn's artifact set, they go hand in hand. I get an additional 10% lunar damage. So another 10% on lunar damage for Flynn's. Again, it's all synergy. There's so much synergy between C6, Jehoda, and Ino. The artifact set of this, plus the artifact set of this. And I don't want to hear this. Some people say I'm wrong. Some forums also say it doesn't apply, but I feel like it does apply. But C6 Sarakujo, even though it's lunar charge damage, I believe since it says electro shredding in Flynn's kit, does that mean it also increases the damage of lunar charge, right? I'm basing it off C2, but if Flynn's could reduce electro resistances, that means his damage is still technically electro in a sense, but it's lunar charge, so it doesn't benefit from damage increases. It only increases based on elemental mastery or by things that say lunar charge, like C6 Ino. If that's the case, if lunar charge is still technically in some cases electro damage, C6 Sarakujo gives another 60 crit damage to electro damage of characters who had their attack increase by Sarakujo. You get what I'm saying, Sani? If that holds true, the 60 from here and the 40 from here, that's 100% more crit damage on my already 225 Flynn's, which would make that 125 or 325 crit damage. And if you want to be extra cheeky, because of the set bonus from here too, I'm actually hitting 100% crit time. 100% crit rate. So 100% crit rate on top of 325 crit damage Flynn's. Yeah, it's crazy synergy. Some people say Sarakujo is not good on Flynn's. I say no. The damage is there. The C6 does work. And it's stupid. It's dumb damage. Look at the horse. Look at the horse. The Pegasus boss. The synergy, but also the rotations are pretty forgiving too. You do this, you do Jehoda, same thing. Okay, now we have the crit buff, 20 seconds of crit. Sarakujo and the burst. I go to Flynn's. Health bar is gone. Dead. Yeah, the buff is already gone, but it's dead by then. Yes, we could be creative. Again, people who stand by saying, oh, I need an Animo character who could shred for Flynn's, even at C0. I think just getting Sarakujo C6, a decent damage buffer, is more important. I'm using a weird weapon choice. His second best weapon is actually Scarlet Sands instead of his signature because of the attack giving aspect to it and the elemental mastery it gives as well. So Flynn's spams his elemental skill because of the cooldown reduction and how it's built. So you could actually get the max stacks of Scarlet Sands pretty easily, all 3 stacks pretty quickly. Meaning I'm getting bonus elemental mastery based off his attack, which is getting buffed by Sarakujo and all the weird synergies. Again, this is a perfect team that I created, and I'm like, I love it. It is a premium. It's high premium because I got C6 Ino, C6 Jehoda. But I feel like I don't even need to do any more constellations with Flynn's. It's just even more damage with Flynn's, and I could pull for more characters. I'm happy with this. I could stop. I could focus on more characters in the long run, which I did with Durin. I got C2 Durin, which was my entire focus with this update, getting Durin to be pretty good. If you said you also have Nefer, right? Do you have Nefer, or did it just read something about having Nefer? Let me see the comments. C3 Ino, C2 Jehoda. Is building Jehoda a must on Nefer? No. Nefer is Jehoda is a nice side grade, but I had a team before Jehoda, which is pretty good. She replaced it now, but you can go without Jehoda. Lauma is more important, but if you don't have a Lauma, it's fine. There's other ways to get the reactions that you want to get Bloom. So, okay, let me ask you this. Do you have a Lauma? You have Lauma too? Perfect. So you don't need to do the side potential, which is either Nahida on the side or having Nilu instead to generate blooms for you too. So Llama is more important. You don't need the Nahida here. Llama is going to be the one to shred for you, especially her elemental burst. Plus, no, her elemental skill shreds at max at crowned. It shreds for 25, which is good. And if you pair her up with the Deepwood set, you get 55 shredding on Dendro, which is good for Nefer's bonus damage or her damage overall. If you have this event weapon that passed. Funny thing, Deepwood set, you just need elemental mastery and elemental recharge. You don't even care about the crit stats. That's just bonus on the side to get more DPS, but again, focus on elemental mastery and energy recharge. I don't have a good energy recharge, but the weapon makes up for the fact. 45, it's pretty good. And I get free elemental mastery by using her skill, which is pretty much all the time. So free elemental mastery with this event weapon. If you don't have the event weapon, go with either Favonius Codex with some crit stats so you could generate particles for your team, because she's off-field hitting with her elemental skill. So generate particles with your team. You do lose out on elemental mastery, but it's fine. Nefer does tremendous damage anyways, so you could get away with no elemental mastery Lauma on the weapon. Particle and energy recharge is more important to get her buff from her elemental burst for your Nefer. This elemental burst makes your Nefer hit so much harder that if you 100% uptime is more important than more elemental mastery. In my personal opinion, so it flows quicker. If you want to min-max, yes, you would want elemental recharge as well as tremendous amounts of elemental mastery, but that's getting perfect stats. You shouldn't be aiming for that. Aim for comfortability while still doing the bare minimum of the rotation is my mantra with building some of these characters. Only when you want to fully commit and you have the time and resources, then you could get the finicky builds and stat-wise. I share Nefer with Flynn, so they share artifact sets, so they kind of are interchangeable, like so. Nefer is gonna have... Oops, I'm also sharing her weapon. I do have signature weapon, but I only pulled signature weapon because I could share it with other people. The 88 crit is so good, and the 8% crit stats on the side is also good. So the Wanderer was using this weapon too because it floats. It works and it floats. Yeah, the Thundering Fury is just because if I have Nefer and I'm doing the Abyss or something, if I want to use Nefer on one team and Flynn's on the other, Flynn's could actually get away with some damage with the Thundering Fury. So Nefer needs to have this set bonus on her to generate the damage. My Flynn's could get away with just Thundering Fury. It's less, but if I need both teams in the Abyss or Stygian Onslaught, it's better for Nefer to have the signature set instead of Flynn's. C6 Flynn's could get away with Thundering Fury and still be okay. Yo, we have somebody else in the chat. Hello! Check your build. I am Ghostly. I'm an NA server, so you gotta be careful. If I punch this in, is this gonna be you or is it gonna be somebody else? Let's check. Ooh, Robin's online. But if you're not NA server, Sani could check it for me. If you are on like the Asian server. And then 9-8. Enter. Search. Is this you? Dotori must... Oh, yes. If this is you, I feel you 100% on Dotori. Dotori must pay. Ghostly. I'm guessing this is you because you also have Flynn's as your profile picture. Again, yeah, you also have C3 Flynn's. Very powerful. Do you have signature weapon? Oh, I'm gonna be jealous. Oh, yeah, Freljord. That is you. Okay, I could add you, but again, I could just look at the builds. Yeah, C3. Were you listening into my C3 Flynn's build? You could probably copy it and see how it feels in your opinion. If you don't have Sarakujo at C6, that means you could get rid of Sarakujo if you don't have C6 to get that 60% crit damage. I only use Sarakujo because of the C6. Most of the times you want Benny to get that fat attack increase, but Sarakujo does miniature Benny as well as C6 with the crit damage, so it's an option. But yeah, I do like that you have C3 Flynn's as well. How's your crit rate? Ooh, you have more crit damage than me base, but I managed to get 80% crit rate because of the weapon choice. Maybe you're sharing weapons with a spear user? You could probably do a crit rate, a higher crit rate weapon. 26 on the Freljord. 60 is good. Okay, don't get me wrong. I tend to preach this as well. 50% crit rate is not good. You don't want a 50-50 on your crit chance. You want to lean more towards crit rate, meaning you want 60. A 60-40 is so much better for your crit damage potential than instead of a 50-50, because it's, again, it leans more towards crit damage, and then you could build more crit damage instead. So yeah, higher crit damage and then 60, this is really, really good. Depending who you build your whatchamacallit, your Flynn's with, you could supplement some of the crit stats, especially with the main artifact set and all that stuff, and the crit damage and the energy recharge. Nouvelette. I also have a Nouvelette. I don't have signature weapon with Nouvelette. I use the Witstith because if you do Nouvelette's rotation with his with buffing and all that stuff, you could get a decent amount of damage from the Witstith's RNG. You either get more elemental damage, 96% if you have an R5, which is really good for his Kamehameha. Or you get more elemental mastery, which you can, depending on your team comp, maybe get a reverse vape, forward vape, and all that stuff. So it hits harder every once in a while. The attack stats are not that good for Nouvelette, but again, 96 on bonus hydro damage is pretty good on a Nouvelette, and you get crit damage on it too. So let's say you get rid of your Lost Prayer, Ghostly. The 55 crit damage on your Nouvelette would bump this up to, oh yeah, you'd be 40. Ooh, 40%. But add an extra 55. That's a lot of crit damage. That's 270, 55. No, that's 290 crit rate or crit damage on a 40%. And no, actually, I forgot. You also get crit rate from his artifact set. So that actually, you get your crit rate back, and you're doing 300, almost 300 crit damage. I recommend Witstith instead. Because yes, you get the bonus elemental damage, but you need to be on field most of the time with Nouvelette. You're gonna keep switching them out with your rotations for buffs and supports, so I think Witstith is better. You gonna be right back? Bet. Again, I'm just talking builds with Ghostly here. Farina. Any constellations, actually? Just the Flynn's. The Wanderer. Okay. Again, you're free to build it. I had success with Witstith and the RNG aspect. I managed to hit like 30 to 40 constant Kamehameha hits, because again, 30% plus the extra 30 from his artifact set, you're hitting that 60 ratio that I was talking about, where it leans more towards crit damage instead of the 50-50 with crit rate. So you could get away with less crit rate, especially multi-hitters. Multi-hitters tend to be better with more crit damage because you hit multiple times, it stacks up. Single hit burst users want higher crit rate so that that single fat nuke always crits. Like a Hu Tao, Eula. 60 is not good for single nukers, where that one damage instance is important. Nuvolette could get away with 60, 70, but more damage, more crit damage, the better. Like, oh, it's so much better. You gotta think about that, which characters need what kind of crit ratio, depending on how their playstyle is as well. If you want to be nitpicky about that. Like, Flynn's could get away with less crit rate, because his rotation is elemental skill again, spam the mini burst, and then do that 2 to 3 times. You have Morvika too. The cool thing about Morvika, I love the fact that she becomes support or DPS, depending on the artifact set, and she fits in so many teams. You have her as DPS, which is good, but have you tried her out as support with the Cindered City set, where she gives free bonus elemental mastery or elemental damage per the reaction, right? Imagine if you could fit her in with Nuvolette, Morvika with the Cindered City set would give a 40% more hydro damage to your Nuvolette once it does a reaction. And there's a possibility of a vaporization from Nuvolette instead, like forward vape, which is the stronger vape. If you had the wit, okay, this is purely theoretical, Ghostly. If you had the withstep and it managed to give you the elemental mastery buff, that vaporization could possibly be stupidly strong. So yeah, the Witstith, you could probably Cindered City Morvika to be a support character on your Nuvolette. She also does tremendous damage regardless on the side. So that's a lot of like side damage, but also buffing as well. Next, oh, that question is easy. It's on your page. Dotori must pay, and who are we rescuing from Dotori? Our girl Columbina. All of us should be saving for Columbina right now. I am also a hypocrite because I should have been saving for Columbina as soon as this update happened, but I pulled for a C2 Durin, so I'm saving for Columbina yesterday. I started yesterday after I finished pulling for Durin C2, which I also did get yesterday. Solid choice? No. After that cutscene, after we were celebrating Columbina's return and having a happy festival and a happy goodbye, my Dotori hate, my Dotori slander, like skyrocketed. I hated Dotori and what she did with Nahida. Oh my god, Nahida? That was bad enough. Trapped her, manipulated the academy to like utilize her powers for greed and all that stuff. Hated Dotori. When I read the manga of Genshin, what Dotori did to Kohli, oh my god, the Kohli stuff was even darker since it was not actually in game. The manga was very graphic in description and what Dotori did to Kohli. And that's where it first started for a lot of people. Everybody hated Dotori because of the Kohli situation. So let's chalk that up. Kohli came first, Dotori. Everybody hates Dotori. Nahida comes around, Dotori again. The hate doubled. Now, if you throw in Columbina, and at the exact moment where she was about to like have her happy ending, Dotori, it didn't just triple. It didn't just quadruple. We want the man dead. The only harbinger that we don't want playable is Dotori. No, I'm ranting. But yeah, that cutscene got me livid. Can't wait though, but it is hype though. It makes you want to play Genshin, right? This is the stuff we live for. We're gonna rescue our girl. We're gonna pull for her on her banner. We're gonna throw all the primo that we earn from now till then on that banner. Maybe get some constellations. I typically, with Archons, I typically try to get at least 1 or 2 constellations because they tend to be cracked. My Murivika, I did get C2 or C1 because the free buff it gives. You get more fighting spirit, you get a free attack stats off it. 40% is chunky. It's really chunky. And I do have the Wolf's Gravestone on her too, so that's another 40%. So her C1 is pretty much Wolf's Gravestone on herself. So I double down and get 40 plus 40, plus the 40... plus the 40 base attack, or the 50, plus the extra 20, plus the 40, plus the 40. My Murivika, I think, hit 5k attack? 5 or 6k. With all the buffs plus a Benny and Sarakujo. I managed to just make a meme build where I hit max attack stats, and it was pretty stupid. Seeing like 8k attack stats on a Murivika. Even though it wasn't viable, it's just funny to see the numbers skyrocket with the Wolf's Gravestone and the C1. But it's not necessary. I was just being like, oh, she has a bicycle. I had to pull for at least an extra constellation. So yeah, Columbina could be in the same situation, especially whatever happens at the end of the Tori situation. Depending how it plays out, how I feel, and also how her kit works. There's multiple factors for me pulling a character besides waifu collecting and also my feelings. How they play, like, and the gameplay sense is also a big factor. I just can't pull a character just because they look cool. They don't feel cool too, especially in the test runs and the live streams where they do a preview of the character. I do factor in a lot of things before I pull for characters and their signature weapons and all that stuff. Yeah, again, 8k attack with a nutty build with C1 is pretty stupid, but it's not viable. It's just fun to see the numbers skyrocket, like I said. But I'm not sure if Sani's back yet, but the Nefer build that I was talking with before Ghostly, you came in and surprised me with a second chatter. The Nefer build with Jehoda specifically, C6 by the way. So Sani didn't have C6 Jehoda, so she's not benefiting from... Nefer won't be benefiting from the crit damage stats, but that's fine. She's good for as a healer on this team. I got rid of the person who was on this team before Jehoda was actually Kokomi. She was the healer on field for my Nefer, but Jehoda could do it pretty easily too, and she's not tied to sticking near the jellyfish to heal, which is good for her Nefer. I could be mobile and I could be anywhere that I want. Jehoda could heal since it's a healing aura on active characters, so very nice. What was my Nefer sitting at? Oh yeah, sure. BRB again. I'm not holding you hostage. It's actually pretty late for me too. It's 12 a.m. I was only here to do quick Durin stuff, but I love talking Genshin with anyone. The theoretical builds, the lore. So this is very pleasing for me. Thank you. Again, thank you Ghostly. Thank you Sani to just sticking around. But if you gotta go, you gotta go. But yeah, how do I explain the Nefer build again? With signature weapon 2, I'm hitting... God damn, I'm hitting... Standing alone, I'm already hitting that crit ratio that I was talking about. I could build for more crit rate if I could. Probably from the goblet. I would probably get a goblet with more crit rate instead of crit damage, because I am getting crit damage from Jehoda, so I could get rid of at least maybe a couple of percentiles to get the crit rate to be 60. Let's see if I could fit that. I need... yeah. But it needs to be an attack stats too, so... This is the best one that I could afford, sadly. damage 7. Yeah, this is the better. This is the better choice. So I could in the future probably get at least 9 more crit rates somehow. Oh wait, I'm stupid. This gives 30% crit rate. The signature set. Okay, and so I'm set. I'm hitting 80 crit rate with 300 plus. Well, I'm set with Nefer. This doesn't. No, this also increases the Lunar Bloom damage. So C6 I know gives 35% crit, or 35% on Lunar Bloom. Nefer's entire damage kit. Jehoda gives the extra 40. So that increases to 344. 80 over 344. Pretty nutty. Lauma's burst gives how much damage on Lunar Bloom? 400% on her based off her elemental mastery. So 400% off of if I was hitting 1,000, that's actually 400 flat. That's a 400%. Oh my god, that's stupid. I can't explain the numbers. Let me just do a play test. I'm bad with numbers. I've never been good with math. My mathing on some of this stuff is theoretical to almost borderline crazy, so I don't run the calculations accurately. I just take a general consensus thinking 400 damage, big numbers. Enemy go boom. Let me double check. Everything's in order. Pavonius, crit stats at 40, crit stats at 60. Signature weapon, signature set. Lauma with energy recharge weapon. Decent amount of EM. The double Dendro actually puts my EM to at least 1,000 with some of the reactions, I believe. Right, Lauma? Which you're at 948 with the party buff. Do I get bonus? How much more? I already get the 50 increase. After triggering Bloom, that's another 30. After triggering Hyper Bloom, which I can't do. So I get an extra 30. So I think Llama is not actually hitting 1,000. Oh, I'm just shy. I'm hitting 78. 978. Increases all party members when dealing elemental damage. No, I am. Sadi. Okay, good. You're back. So here's my Lauma Nefer with Jehoda build. So I managed to get Lauma to 1,000 EM via reactions in the party build. So double Nefer gives an extra 50, which is already calculated. When I do a reaction with Bloom, that's another 30. So Lauma is hitting 978. With the signature set of Aino and Nefer at the same time, that's an extra 120. So Nefer's hitting, or Lauma's hitting the minimum threshold of 1,000 that her burst gives a ton of damage. Right? The burst 400% of 1,000 is 400. It's a 400% increase of damage, pretty much. To her lunar damage. The only problem is my stats are kind of inflated because of lucky rolls. Like, again, sitting at a flat 300% crit damage, and then C6 Jehoda bumps that up by an extra 40%. It is kind of cheating. So here is a test rotation, very similar to Flynn's. So, Nefer for Aino into Jehoda. You gotta get that swirl in, like so. Get the heal out, get this, Lauma. And that was with, okay, so before I kill it, that was without a Lauma buff. That was the damage without Lauma using her burst, and it was still pretty consistent. Jehoda was keeping Nefer alive with her healing. As you could tell, I was getting kicked. I wasn't dodging. Jehoda, as the healer, top tier. And again, I didn't build Jehoda for her kit. I built her for particle generation so that her healing is at least 100% uptime. I prefer healing always to higher healing stats if it's 100% uptime. Like the particles come back and she's ready to spam it again. I'd rather have that than stronger healing, but then she's not ready to heal again when it becomes important. So you gotta consider that with Jehoda if you have her, which you do. If you want more uptime on her burst or fat healings. Again, it's based on how you play, so that you gotta take that in consideration. My play style is healing always ready. Healing is always ready is more important than fat healing. So let's test this out again. So Llama's burst is ready. We're gonna see a tremendous damage spike with Nefer's kit. So apply the Hydro, get it with Jehoda, apply the heal, apply the buff, apply this, apply the buff, do the kicks. $95 or yeah. So the numbers I'm gonna show. Which color? Okay, I don't need to kill it, but I saw the numbers. So Nefer's kicks were 59 and 79 specifically. So again, you have to count. You have to double that because she's a multi-hitting character. So 2 kicks were 59 each, and then the final kick was 79. Do I have to bring up the numbers here? Come on. Again, I'm bad at math, so I'll just bring out a calculator or something. I don't know. Where is display capture? Here we go. So, whoops. So we do this times 2. So two of the kicks on a single charge attack from Nefer is 118. That's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then the final hit from the third kick, again, this is one charge attack. The charge attack hits 3 times, and you can do that 3 times per how many blooms are on the field. So you get 3 charge attacks. So this plus an extra 29. That then you actually times that by 3, since you can do it 3 times per elemental usage. That's the final number. That is the final number of a full rotation of Nefer, and it's quick. Let me say this again. It is quick. After I do it twice, which is an entire kit, since she has 2 charges of her elemental skill, you reapply everything, and it should be ready. Aino and Jehoda having Favonius weapons should have Lauma's burst ready again. So again, this is easy 600k damage, and I like easier than pure min-max stats because I think I read this somewhere. The min-max stats for Nefer is having the two lower numbers, the 59s. Somebody had like a perfect. I'm not sure if they had constellations too. The constellations again make a difference. This is a C0 Nefer. If I had a constellations, they probably do hit the 100. People said they managed to get 100s on the 2 hits. That makes the final hit. If I add an extra, based on my number, an extra 40%. Let me do the numbers then. So the 2 hits are 200 plus 140 times that by 3. Someone's hitting 1,000,000 damage with a Nefer rotation. That is the peak thing. Yeah, exactly. Your friend probably has the perfect stats because the single charge attack hits 3 times. The first 2 are weaker than the final hit. If you take that into account, that the 2 weaker hits are 100k each. The final kick is always stronger. So yeah, your friend probably has like 1,000,000 damage per rotation. That's good. He's not using Llama or Nahida. How? Oh, okay, so I'm gonna assume it's not a good rotation. They could probably do that in one rotation, but then then all the buffs are not up and ready. Again, this is speculatory. I'm not gonna accuse your friend like with super weak, but if they could repeat that in the next rotation in the same fight, Ducros, Dendro, MC. Yeah, the Dendro MC also gives a lot of elemental mastery, which buffs up Nefer's damage. My question to you is that better than having a guaranteed 110 or 1 million damage rotation? And once that finishes, he could do it again. Can they do that multiple times in a single boss fight is the question. I'm thinking in terms of like really squishy or really tanky bosses. That is a question you got to ask. Can they do that multiple times in a single fight so that it's not a one and done situation, that if they don't kill the enemy, they're screwed, or they have to like finically build up the particles again, and then they have to like run around in circles, keep everybody healed up. Because again, I'm looking at that team. That team does not have a healer. Somebody could die on their support team, Sucrose or Ino, and then their damage is gone. Like the rotation is done. Like you can't hit that 100k anymore. C6 Jehoda, or just Jehoda in general, is the healer. And again, I like my healings. I like safety, but also consistent damage. So between this 120 once per rotation and a risk of dying because of a boss's gimmick, burning. There's a chance of burning since this is a Dendro team. There's a chance to accidentally burn yourself if you're facing a Pyro character, and then you have no healers. The run is done. I prefer my 100 and what was my other calculations? This consistently, because let's say I do 2 rotations of this, I could hit that 1 million damage rotation after 2 rotations, and I'm still perfectly safe because Jehoda's healing. Exactly. Again, when you have a Dendro character, you gotta be careful if you're facing a Pyro enemy and you have no healers, because burning is stupid. Especially this character too. This boss fight is also Dendro and Pyro. There's a risk of self-burning very easily. Heal.
皆のために祈ろう。嘘はいけないね。
50s, 60s, 60s. And look at that, it's dead. 2 rotations, and it's good. Again, I think the constellations would be very important with Nefer. Let me see. Base lunar damage increased by 60%. There it is. C1 is a perfect stopping point for Nefer. That is a giant boost of damage based off her elemental mastery. So C1 is... I could probably hit maybe 60k to 70k on the first 2 hits of her charged attack. Not that it's not the 100k, but again, there's a C1 would be good. If I'm gonna copy Flynn's, let's say I copy Flynn's, I managed to get Nefer to C3. The Veil is increased by 5 seconds. Stack limits by 5. Dealing more damage than the original. Yeah, that's another damage increase. This basically translates more damage, free elemental mastery by 200. So again, first 2, more damage. C3, is this her burst or is this her elemental skill? Senate Synergy. Yeah, oh my god, there we go. C3, unlike Flynn's increases his burst damage first on C3. Nefer, it's her elemental skill, which is his entire kit. So C3 is possibly where my team could probably hit that 1 million safely. Oh, the safe team with 1 million damage per rotation is nuts. Damn, that's tempting for possible future Nefer reruns. If I manage to pull a free Nefer or like get a C1 Nefer, It's only going up. I keep the same team, safety first, and the damage just goes up. Oh. Damn. Lauma becomes a healer at C1. That's actually very important too. If you have the chance, Sani, maybe again, if you don't care for your Jehoda as the healer, if she doesn't heal enough, maybe commit to a C1 Lauma. C1 Lauma becoming a healer is actually pretty insane. You could fit this with the Nilo Bloom team and nobody dies. You could fit this with burning and nobody dies from burning because it heals. Yeah, this is actually nutty for burning teams, so you don't self-burn to death. C1 healing Lauma. Yeah, that is a crazy way to build a support. They do damage, they shred. Remember, Lauma shreds for Pyro too, if you wanted to. She shreds the reactions to whatever happens with Dendro, with her elemental skill, so... She could shred 25% Pyro damage, so burning could actually do a little bit more damage too. And then you could just out-heal everything. She becomes a healing support. Oh. Crazy. Crazy C1 potential. That is a good C1. Usually C1s are hit or miss, but that's a good one on Lauma. And again, premium team, premium weapon, lucky rolls and all that stuff. I also want to advocate for me spending on Durin. I could have saved whatever I used. The primo that I spent on C1 or C3 or C, is it C2 Durin? Yeah, that's 3 copies of Durin. I could have saved all of that for Columbina, but I stand by the fact that I pulled for him because not even as a DPS, his support potential is amazing with C2. I read C2 wrong yesterday. You could probably watch the VODs if you care for VODs, but I'm going to explain it right now. I thought that he gives free elemental damage boost by 50% to whoever does the swirl, right? So let's say somebody as a support Durin, somebody swirls and they get 50% bonus animo damage on top of his pyro. I checked the stats. Nobody who swirled pyro got a 50% animo bonus damage. I was like, where's the bonus damage? I don't know where it is. It actually just increases the damage done by that swirl for 6 seconds by 50%. So you get a 50% bonus damage for 6 seconds. And it keeps reapplying. There's no cooldown. So especially with the swirl team, if you constantly swirl pyro, whoever's on field is getting a 50% damage boost. Just flat out. On their damage. I'm like, okay, maybe that's better than 50% on, whatchamacallit, on elemental mastery boost, because anybody could use that damage boost. I could put this on Eula, and Eula does 50% more damage because it's not increasing the elemental mass or the elemental respective element. It's just increasing the damage that they deal. So I'm like, okay, that's pretty strong. I could show you the example of that with my my Wanderer team. I have Durin with the Wanderer, which is canonically cool as all hell, since they're best friends and all that stuff, but it works too, right? Canonically best friends, so they should be in the same party, but the fact that C2 bumps up the Wanderer's damage is pretty cool. So let me get the proper build in. So Benny also has his burst ready. So this. He's ready. Faruzan is again also here to generate particles. So let me fix my Faruzan build. She is another Favonius weapon user, meaning she generates particles. Durin actually switches to Favonius so that it generates particles for himself. He's only here to shred and give the bonuses from this. Like, his damage doesn't matter, so... Crit rate 50%. That's still good since he hits multiple times pretty quickly in his support role. Faruzan needs a lot of particle generation, so who could I steal from? Let's just put the stats that I want. Energy regeneration and crit rate. I could be cheeky and give her Viridescent, but Faruzan, especially with this team, doesn't need Viridescent to shred Pyro. Pyro is not the main damage dealer here, so let me just slap on any artifact set that gives free crit rate and energy recharge, whatever's available. Jehoda is not on this team, so let's steal this. We'll steal animal bonus damage, because why not? Crit rate, so... Oh, 48. No, I need more crit rate. What is this game feeding me? Crit rate. There we go. Crit rate and energy recharge. Crit rate and energy recharge. We'll steal from Layla. Zua. And I know. So, 271, 70% crit rate. Favonius Bow, generate particles. Again, like I said, Nefer's weapon could be shared because it's free crit damage and free crit rate. I'm not benefiting from the effect of the weapon, but a free crit damage and crit rate is better than nothing. Right? I could also give her Surf's Up, but I'd rather have that little tiny crit rate as well. Even though aesthetically the blues on blues look pretty good. And 20% more HP. Honestly, between these two, it doesn't really matter. Do I need more HP to keep them alive? Do I need crit rates? I tend to go towards crit rate because, look at that. 82, 200. And of course, Benny. So check out the damage on this build. Who could I test this out on? These guys, I can't test it out because they're kind of gimmicky fighters. They have like weird nuances where you have to like hit them in a shielded state. And the last this is going to be the last thing I do for the night. I need to go to sleep soon. It's already 12 a.m. So let me just showcase the potential of C2 Durin as a support, which is why I stand by me pulling him instead of saving for Columbina. Matrix? Oh, the Matrix is okay. The Matrix is good. Both the Sumeru one, the Sumeru and Inazuma one. The only problem is the Perpetual Array and the Matrix, since they are constructs, they get a bonus elemental damage. Elemental damage does so much more damage against them, and they're more resistant to physical. So it's kind of inflated, but it's still a good test. Scaramouche boss? The Scaramouche weekly boss also, when he's down, you get a bonus damage on him when you get in that stun state. I don't like relying on that as a damage test number. I could try the chicken. The Sumeru chicken is also a good test. He only goes down in a stun state if you do Electro, which I don't have on this team, meaning there's no stun state potential. There's also the Natlan boss. You know what? The Teneberis. The Teneberis, it also has a good DPS check, which if I get to that state, how much DPS could I punch out before I get nuked? Yeah. The Teneberis is a good DPS check and to see if you could kill it before it gets to that base. Yeah. Okay, so let me see if everybody's ready. Do I start this off with particles? Or do I go in as is. You know, I'm gonna go in as is to see if I generate the particles needed. And then I'll test out with a burst ready setup.
手を出すつもりか
Okay, Faruzan's ready. Okay. So we start off with Faruzan. Oh, I not nuked. Okay.
まだ溶けぬまま
It's better if I start with particles, because again, Faruzan is squishy as all hell. The key here is Faruzan shreds and also buffs with just her ultimate, right? Faruzan does the same thing like C6 Sarakujo, C6 Jehoda. She gives animal characters bonus crit rate or crit damage, another 40%. The only difference between Sarakujo and Faruzan is her burst shreds Animo, of all things, but also buffs Animo for people, so that's good for the Wanderer. If it hits an enemy, 30% Animo shred. If it hits the Wanderer, if I'm in the range, 34% bonus Animo damage, which is pretty nutty. Are you built properly? I feel like you're not built properly. Crit rate or crit damage? I think it was crit rate. 22 there. Yeah, this looks about right. Oh, crit damage, but a little bit more crit rate. Energy recharge is important, but that was 13% attack. No, more crit damage. Maybe crit rate. I'm already hitting 80%. Do I even need more crit rate? Okay, I don't. Okay, we gotta build up Faruzan's burst again. I'll start the fight with a burst so that the Tenebrous doesn't nuke Faruzan out of existence. Where could I generate some particles? I just need to hit things with Pavonius. Come on. Pavonius.
後悔しても
Pavonius. Ow, come on, I just healed.
今に見ておれ
Okay, we're ready. We're ready. Okay. Tenebrous, before we all go to sleep, and you guys got stuff to do as well. I'm not sure with timelines who's who, where's where in the world, but the rotation is Durin first, since his burst is 100% uptime. Do this. Into Faruzan to shred. Into Benny. Charge attack as... Oh, I got distracted. Shoot. I wasted his elemental skill. I'm dead. Okay, I saw that three hours thing. I'm like, what's in 3 hours? Right. The daily reset is actually in 3 hours, meaning I could do part 3 of Durin's story quest in 3 hours. But I'm not staying up for that. That's 3 o'clock in the morning. God damn it. Durin. Hold up. Let me attack this thing. Durin's ready. Okay, I'm ready. Try this again. That got me distracted. I'm like, next 3 hours, like what happened? I thought I got disconnected for a second. So, Light, Faruzan, Benny. Again, I can't spam my skill because I accidentally exited the skill a little bit early. There we go. 70 Ks on charged attacks and then finish off with a stomp. Didn't even get to phase 2. This is like high, super high Animo damage. So again, Durin buffs the damage by 50%. He gets 20 stacks of, on his C1, 20 stacks, especially in his support role, the active character could hit an opponent 20 times, and it's increased by Durin's attack stats. It's not a lot. It's not a lot, but I do 20 charged attacks with the Wanderer. I don't even hit those 20 stacks. By the time the Wanderer's elemental skill runs out, I probably did like 15, 16 before I had to use this burst, and then the rotation sets. So my attack is increased by another 60% of Durin's attack for the Wanderer. So that's buff on top of buff. Buff on top of buff on the Wanderer. Oh. Then the Wanderer's Stomp, his elemental burst actually does how many hits? 5 hits. So yeah, honestly, I think the Wanderer, if I do 15 charged attacks into a burst, that is all the stacks of Durin's C1, and it's all buffed up. On top of the C2 being already buffed up. So a lot of damage buffs, especially with Benny, the shredding, and the elemental bonuses from Farazan. I could be extra cheeky and reduce his burst or his crit damage by 33% and try to do the Withstith. Because the Withstith was my previous weapon with the Wanderer. And yes, I only hit 85 crit damage, 185. Not good. I'm just below the 200 range. But the possibility of one of the buffs from the Wanderer or from the Withstith is astronomical. Attack stats 120% or 96 bonus elemental damage, which I don't know. I'd rather since I pulled Nefer's weapon, I prefer the flat crit damage, so it's consistent. But I've seen those 70 hits could actually potentially be 75 to 80 hits on charge attacks if I get the right bonus from the Withstith. Right? Once every 30 seconds though is the only thing that kind of hurts, because the rotation is quicker than 30 seconds, meaning the Withstith, especially with this team comp, only comes once every other damage setup rotation. Because again, this is pretty quick. I could spam this pretty quick into a Benny. 30 seconds most likely has not passed for the Withstith to buff up again in the next rotation. So it's very finicky. That's why I prefer flat crit damage at 88. But yeah, that's the Wanderer set. It's actually, this Wanderer only... I haven't used the Wanderer in so long. He was stuck with these stats ever since Sumeru. I'm going to say that right now. I haven't used the Wanderer for the longest time. He was stuck at 70 by 185 and no good supports. Only Farazan, and I think I put in Jean for the healer. Double healing and Jean, because Jean also shreds for... I have a C4 Jean. She technically shreds as well Animo with the Constellation. 40%, right? So I was double dipping with Farazan and Jean to shred and also buff. And also to constantly heal. But Jean had some energy problems. I couldn't give her Favonius because it was kind of weak. I'd rather have like her attack stats be a little bit higher for the healing. The Durin solved that, especially with Constellations. Durin passively shreds Animo damage too, with his this 20% on Animo damage shredding and Pyro. So whatever reacts with Pyro, 20% shred. Farazan shreds for 35 or 34. So again, it's another 55 to 50 resistance shred, kind of similar to the Nefer build with Lauma and who else shreds? Yeah, Lauma with her Deepwood set was another 55 shredding potential. Pretty funny how most supports nowadays have built-in shredding. Kind of makes you think that that's the direction most of the supports are going to go. Built-in shredding instead of artifact shredding. But I digress. So the Wanderer is actually in a good place, and it's canonically cool that it's Durin who makes me want to play the Wanderer again. These two, they're in the cutscenes. Very, very fitting. Like, the Wanderer is back on the menu. But yeah, Sumeru was a lifetime ago, so it's good. It's good that this hat guy got a use again in my team comp, and I have some decent, pretty decent artifacts. They're pretty chunky, 20% plus on some of the bonuses. 22 on here, 24 with crit rate at 31. If I could, oh my god, if I could manage to roll a crit damage with crit like that, reverse the rolls. I have 60 crit damage here, but I get the 24 crit rate. That would be so good because 24 crit rate is just shy of an actual main stat, but you get so much more crit damage in comparison, right? What would that bump that into? Let me just do some simple but almost possibly wrong math. So, 24 crit rate instead, but I get the 62 crit damage. My crit damage would be 155. That's actually 50 crit rate? Oh, that means if I somehow manage to roll 24 crit rate on this instead, that would bump me up to 70, which is above my 60-40 ratio that I like with multi-hitters. Oh, okay. Okay, possibly, I'm gonna do this right now on stream before we end off. Oh my god, is this a bad idea? I know I want to use the Wanderer again, but I have the potential to create that single artifact that I want. And then attack, I can increase attack stats, I can increase elemental recharge, but the party is really giving a lot of particles back, so maybe just the attack percentage would be good. It costs 3. Oh, I don't know, guys. Do I end off on making the perfect hat for hat guy? Ooh. The circlet. If, again, I might have to keep rolling for crit stats, meaning I have to spend feathers. Give me a second. There's going to be an ad. My OBS is warning me that there's a possible ad. So I'll wait till the ad goes away. So that if you guys don't have Turbo, or if you guys, no, you guys are on YouTube side. What am I thinking? Twitch Turbo. You don't get the ad on Twitch's or YouTube side, do you? I think this is tied to Twitch. Maybe I don't get an ad on YouTube. YouTube ads, I haven't figured out yet. I'm not sure if it's automatic. I don't know. But yeah, since it's YouTube, I think I'm safe to do this now. No ads? Perfect. Let's do this. Double check. Main stats, crit, and I want crit rate. What do we got? And an extra attack on the side too? Ooh. Okay, we gotta roll this now and hope for the best. And remember, even if it doesn't turn out to be well, I'm gonna spend possible feathers in the future to make it perfect. Like, I'm not gonna throw it away. The rolls might be terrible, but there's still a chance to recycle it, so. I have a purpose to recycle this. Perfect artifact. Let's go. Attack? Damn, I had to unlock that, so that was mandatory, so come on, crit rate. Come on, crit rate. Attacks, come on, crit rate! Oh, it missed! It missed all the crit rates! Oh, okay. Do I have even enough feathers for this? I don't. I'm gonna put the... It's fine. It's fine. Even if I miss, making this into a crit damage with high crit rate, it could be another floater piece. I tend to share this like this. I do this with Skirk and this one. High crit damage and high crit rate. I tend to float it all around. Like look at these ones. Decent crit rates all around. I love making these ones, but I gotta make another one because I can't break the set for Desert Pavilion. I don't have an extra animal damage that has chunky. Yeah, this. I could have made this one the damage one, but it costs 4. I'd rather make another hat for hat guy. Circle it. So I'm going to chalk that up to re-roll that in the future for crit stats. But the crit rate's actually not that bad. 50, I'm still hitting 50. Again, it's not my... this is me being greedy as well. This is actually good. But again, like I said personally, I do love the 60 on the crit stats for multi-hitters, which is the Wanderer, multi-hitting, so... I do get a damage increase though. So I'll keep that on for now. 50 is just me being greedy, but that's still amazing. So my damage is actually increased by a lot now, if I want to be honest. I was at 215, now I'm at 255. Those 70 hits, those 70 crits could be at least like what, 70, 73s? 74s? Maybe possibly 75. And then that doesn't include the burst damage too, so again, only going up. But thank you for keeping me company on this impromptu stream. I usually don't stream late nights like this, but since Durin's story quest requires me to come back every day for 5 days straight, I thought, you know, I'll just do a quick stream late at night, past my usual time, in and out, quick times. But you guys kept me company. I love it so much. Thank you for being on the YouTube side. Thank you for watching me stream Genshin. Hopefully you're lucky with your pulls, and hopefully you start saving those primos for Columbina. I know I am. And good luck with all your looks. But until then, you've been watching Crimson Dai Show. Thank you for stopping by. Peace out, stay awesome, enjoy the rest of your night / evening / day, wherever you are. And I'll catch you hopefully on the next stream, possibly tomorrow. Who knows? Till then, peace out, stay awesome. Bye.